When a sequel to a decent horror game is made, it generally goes one of two ways. It's a horrible imitation of its predecessor and players promptly hate it. Or, it takes what the first game did well and improves upon it so much that players hail it as the far superior game and prepare to throw the original in the trash. Thankfully, the latter is where the Coma 2, Vicious Sisters decided to go, and in every single way, it's a massive improvement over the original, a game that I already enjoyed. But what makes the Coma 2 so great, and how does it improve over the original? Let's take a look. The Coma 2, Vicious Sisters, was first released for PC on January 28, 2020, meaning it came out roughly half a decade after the original Cutting Class was released, and just over 2 years after the release of the remastered edition, the Coma Recut. It picks up 3 weeks after the events of the first game, but in all honesty, you don't have to have played the first to follow what's going on here. We didn't. We started with Vicious Sisters and understood everything that was going on just fine. The story is its own, and anything that you need to know from the first game is well explained when the time comes. As I said in my review for the original game, if you only have time to play one, I would highly recommend this game. You really won't miss much by skipping the first. At any rate, after the events of the first game, Yongo has been in a mysterious coma for 3 weeks now. The game opens with Mina, our new protagonist, and Yongo's best friend from the first game who was mentioned a few times but barely appeared, giving us a brief rundown of what's going on. She's been having the same dark dream of him ever since, where he's alone and trapped. Mina now has the pendant that sent Yongho into the coma in the first place, but unlike Yongho, who merely picked up the pendant and planned to give it back to the delightful Ms. Song, Mina feels a certain affinity for it, like she knows the person in the photo inside, and as the game progresses, it will become evident why. Mina truly is the main star here, someone who is deeply and personally connected with the world of the coma, whilst Yongo, the protagonist of the first game, was someone who merely got caught up in it. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, while Mina has actual connections to this mysterious and twisted world. Again, as I mentioned in my review for the first game, that one honestly feels more like a prequel, and this game here is the real, true story. There's a lot more meat to this game, and it's just honestly better in every single way. The first change you'll notice as Vicious Sisters starts is that we now have voice acting.
영호야, 같이 가! 영호야, 제발 일어나.
This is a great addition, and it's always nice to hear real voices coming from the characters during the cutscenes, rather than just reading the text. The audio quality can be a little lacking at times, and there are points where the voices sound like they were recorded inside a tin can in a tiny metal warehouse, and the mixing also leaves a little to be desired at points, with the voices sometimes being too quiet to even hear. But overall, it's a nice addition and brings a lot to the atmosphere and immersion of the game. The artwork has also greatly improved. I don't think it was terrible in the first game, but everything looks more refined now, more polished. The talking headshots also have a lot more variety in expressions and movement now, compared to the first game, which again helps with the overall polish. The comic strip cutscenes are also really well done and gorgeous to look at. The art here is top class, and you get some genuinely chilling artwork of the Vicious Sisters as they try to stop Mina moving through the various sections of the Coma world as well. And on top of the improved artwork, the sound design goes above and beyond this time as well. Footsteps sound nice and crisp, and one of the key mechanics in this game is the footsteps of the titular Vicious Sisters. This time around, you'll know they're nearby by the clicking of their heels, which you will hear long in advance of their sudden screech when they spot you. Always listen carefully, and if the footsteps sound close, then beware.
그렇다면 그게 환영해주지 않을 수 없지. 그렇지?
If you did play the first game first, then gameplay-wise, Vicious Sisters will be much like returning to a beloved playground. Not a whole lot has changed. You still have the same inventory, stamina, health, and so forth. The actual mechanics are also the same. Look around, interact with things for items and notes, hide under desks and in toilets or lockers when being chased, and so on. Mina is also a pro dodger. Enough so that she probably should have been on the Sewa High dodgeball team, and this time around, that mechanic becomes even more useful, as you will find sequences where Mina has to dodge numerous things in a row like she's a 5-year-old and the floor is lava, to get past a wide variety of monsters waiting for her. And again, this is something that's done much better in this game. In the original, things like the toxic plants or creatures that would slash at your feet just appeared and disappeared randomly on the spot. If you were unlucky enough to be standing on that spot, and they suddenly appeared, then you'd get hit. Here, they're on the same spot constantly, so you can always see them, but they attack a little differently. For example, the toxic plants will only go off if you get too close to them, rather than just randomly shooting out horrifying gases regardless of where you're standing. This means you can bait them into going off and then casually walk by, or you can just run and dodge to miss them entirely. And the creatures that like to slash at your feet will now swipe randomly for a certain period of time before they go still, and you can walk past them without incident. Or, if you're feeling spicy, you can hop, skip, and dodge right past them as they continue to slash. It's up to you. In general, the enemy variety is the same as the first game, with a few new additions here and there to spice things up. It's really not that different though, so if you danced with the Vicious Sisters in the first game, then you'll know what to expect here. Mina can defend herself against the sisters with a nice spray of mace to the face, but she can only carry one can of mace at a time, and Dark Song will gut you in an instant if she finds you, so it's always a good idea to have some on hand. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say how much I love their designs in this game. Both Dark and Slasher Song look amazing here, and being chased by them can be quite nerve-wracking, compounded by constantly hearing their footsteps in the otherwise dark and quiet school. Their animations are also greatly improved in this game, and their jerking and unnatural movements are quite effectively creepy. This game also introduces a whole slew of new characters and fully delves into not just the world of the Coma itself, but how it relates to the game's real world and the various societies that have attached themselves to it. These things are hinted at in the first game, but fully explored here for the first time. Right off the bat, we're introduced to a literal roundhouse of shady characters who seem to know a whole lot about the Coma and have some hidden agenda regarding it. This isn't just some high school kid fighting to get out of a waking nightmare anymore. The scale is much larger this time, with numerous characters coming not just from all walks of life, but even different countries, to unite and... well, you'll have to play the game to find out what exactly they want to do with the Coma, but it's a fascinating tale. Yesol, my favourite from the first game, also plays a much larger role here, so that gets a big old tick in my book. Just like the first game, Vicious Sisters is a side-scrolling survival horror game where you can't fight the monsters and you have to hide. A lot. While you try to find items to move on to the next section. This is basically Fetch Quest, the game. But unlike the first game, you're no longer tied to just Sewa High School. This time around we get to explore numerous areas, such as the police station, the Dokkebi market, the subway, and even a hospital. I especially liked the market, and here you even get a unique pursuer who looks like he came straight out of an American slasher film.
누구지?
Plus, the Dokkebi himself is pretty damn cool too. To open up each of these areas, you'll need to unlock them first, which is where all the fetch quests come into play. Find this item, unlock this door, power up this generator, etc. All whilst hiding from the monsters and picking up the copious amount of notes hidden around the game. And if you thought there was a lot to read in the first game, then prepare your reading glasses for this one. There are 61 torn pages hidden throughout the game, with 10 split across each of the game's 6 sections, except for the market, where you can find 11. Vicious Sisters goes full hog on lore, and we finally get to hear from Sumi, the girl whose picture is in the pendant that keeps sucking everyone into the coma, alongside other key figures, such as the shaman Jiangmi, the priest Minsu, the ever-lovely Yesol, who needs her own game, and even that shithead of a friend, Seho, who doesn't even bother hiding his true intentions this time around and is just a plain douchebag on top of trying to kill everyone all the time. These new locations are all fantastic additions and help split up the monotony of looking at the same classrooms and halls all the time. You'll spend roughly an hour or two, give or take, in each area, but as you get further towards the end, you can also easily go back and forth to previous areas with little wormholes scattered throughout the place to access areas you couldn't before, or find items and torn pages that were previously locked off. And on that note, this game is also decently longer than the first, and will probably take anywhere from 8 to 10 hours to finish first time around, compared to the first game's roughly 4-hour length. The majority of that time will be spent fetch questing and picking up torn pages that tell you the story of what's really going on, just what the coma is and how the many characters involved in this game relate to it. This game also introduces a neat mechanic where each section will give you an actual but entirely optional fetch quest to complete before moving on to the next part. You see, this time around, when you move from one area to the next for the first time, like from the school to the police station, one of the Vicious Sisters will attack you. She doesn't just harm you in the cutscene though, she will literally and permanently remove one of your health bars when she attacks. But it doesn't have to be this way. Whilst exploring, you should find a shady character somewhere in the area who wants you to bring them something. In return, they'll tell you how to build a certain weapon, trap, or item. Head out, find the various bits and pieces they want, take them back, and voila! You'll have in your hands a taser, or a bear trap, or even a gas mask. And if you just happen to have that item on hand as you proceed to the next segment of the game, then Mina will use it against the Vicious Sister attacking her, and her health will be saved. This even changes the cutscene, which is a neat addition. Naturally, the incentive is high to complete these little quests because losing even just 1 or 2 health bars permanently makes the endgame a whole lot harder, and if you don't bother to do any, well, it's game over, man. Game over. I also liked that each section of this game has its own unique death screen. You're undoubtedly going to die a lot, just like the first game. So it's nice that they went to the trouble of making unique scenes for each different section. Oh, and yes, you should also probably be saving at every single opportunity just like the first game as well. This time around it's done in a book of memories, as opposed to blackboards, but it's the same idea. You'll find these books everywhere, and it's always a good idea to make liberal use of them. Dark Song especially doesn't mess around, and if you don't have any mace on hand, then she's a one-hit killer. As with the first game, Vicious Sisters is also quite witty at times, not just in the script but with its environmental storytelling too. There's one scene towards the end where Mina is ruminating what she has to do to save old buddy Yongho while, in the background, you have Yasol going stabby kung fu ninja on Seho, and then getting yeeted into the next dimension by Dark Song as Mina is seemingly oblivious to it all. This fight scene continues in the background as Mina tries to figure out what to do, and you see knives flying, people flying, monsters screeching, and it's honestly one of the best things I've ever seen in any form of media entertainment ever. I was just about doubled over on the floor in laughter the first time I saw it, and you're likely to die many times at this part while you try to figure out how to proceed, so you get to watch it happen over and over again, and it never gets old. Pure perfection. This game excels at storytelling. I'd honestly love to see a movie made out of this world, and they even made a live-action trailer for the game, which just makes me want a movie even more. So, even if you're not a big fan of the game mechanics, I still think this game is worthwhile, if only to explore the story and the atmosphere. It's so deep, rich, and thoughtfully explored. You get the deepest lore cuts from the torn pages you find throughout the game, but the cutscenes don't slack either. Especially as you near the end game, more and more is explained and opened up, and you realize just how far-reaching the Coma really is, and the terrible things that could happen if the monsters residing in it are finally freed into the real world. It's something that many important, powerful people are willing to give their lives to stop happening. And here you are, a high school kid, just trying to save your friend and finding out that, well, maybe your entire existence as you know it isn't really what it seems. And you can't just keep letting these people die for no reason. After all, does the real world really need Dark Song in it? Well, I know some people wouldn't object to a few more monster ladies hanging around, but just like the first game had multiple endings, so too does this one. Although, here we just have a good ending and a bad ending. The good can only be obtained by picking up 3 specific items hidden throughout the game. So, unless you fully explored every nook and cranny first time around, taking trips back to previous locations to poke around once again, you'll likely get the bad ending first time around. This isn't awful because playtime will be drastically cut once you know what to do and where to go, and this time around there are a multitude of skins for Mina as well. My personal favourite is the bully skin, of course, but there's a little something here for everyone. In case you haven't picked up on it by now, I love this game. A lot. I wasn't expecting a whole lot when I saw the premise and that it was just a side-scrolling survival horror, but what can I say? The charm, the wit, the heart, the characters, the story, it all drew me in and refused to let go. This is a series I'd love to dive back into again if they wanted to continue it, and the good ending leaves hints that maybe, just maybe, they could. But ultimately, this tells a full, complete story, and if they ended it right here, then I wouldn't feel like I missed out on anything either. All of Dev Espresso's games run pretty much just like this one, and there are even Easter eggs like posters in the background that feature characters from their other games. So if you do like the gameplay loop, then they have more like this out there. But sadly, they're not horror games like this one. Should you play this? Absolutely. It goes on sale a lot as well, so while it's not that pricey to begin with, you can generally grab it for even cheaper if you just wait a bit. It's available on pretty much everything as well, even the PlayStation this time around, which was how we played it and where this footage comes from. There are far worse ways to spend 10 or so hours of your time, and if you're a fan of Asian horror in general, not just Japanese, then I feel like this is a game you can't miss. But what do you guys think? Have you played the Coma 2 yet? If so, let me know what you thought of the game in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.